Hello, guys. I'm Antonio here at Flutter Tips again. Now with Supercharging Flutter development with AI agent skills. Okay, so I think everyone has encountered these issues that sometimes, not to say most of the times, uh, AI can write bad Flutter code. So, what way is it happening? Without a specific guidance, AI editors may fall onto these common traps, inconsistent architecture, mixing some of the architectures that are out there, like MVC, clean architecture, and making one spaghetti project out all of our code. Um, State management chaos, mixing different state management solutions like Block or Riverpod, making really, really deep nested widgets that are really, really bad to read and to debug later on. Um, Making wrong import or forgetting to make imports or using const on constructors and using stale patterns or stale APIs that are no longer usable or are deprecated. So how do we fix it? The solutions are agent skills. Skills are a lightweight markdown files called skill.md that provide framework specific assistance or expertise to our AI. It's an open standard from agentskills.io. So they are pretty much, or it's trying to be the convention across all AIs. It's portable. You can use them across any IDE, and they are context aware. Teaches the AI the how and why of your specific code base or how you're doing things. Okay. Now, the two main tools that we're gonna talk about are Antigravity and Cursor. For Antigravity, it's the new IDE that Google created. It focuses on the intent, on you talking to the agent and asking it to do something, and based on what you are asking, do that task. And Cursor was created, I think, first as a fork from VS Code, but it's an IDE that focuses on the context, meaning what file are you on? Like you're wanting to make some refactor or some new feature or something, or change something regarding a file you're on, or the directory you're on. That's the base context that Cursor takes. And the commonality between them two, it's they both pretty much use the same instruction logic to stay on the track. Here's the anatomy of a skill and a rule. On anti-gravity, they use, or we can use, the skills as they are on agentskills.io, determined there. And you can see on the left the how we write a skill, and on the right, cursor, it's based much more on rules. So to do like the skill on cursor, we will create a .mdc file inside of the cursor rules, like you see in the image on the right. And you have there on how, and the description on how do you instantiate or create these rules or skills for cursor, right? Um, and here's like the main difference between on how cursor uses skills and anti-gravity. On the left we have cursor. It is much context driven. Like I was saying, based on the file you're on, the directory you're on, it takes the context from there to the task you're asking it to do. And anti-gravity is much more intent driven. It hears what you want to do, like create a block, a new feature, and based on what you're asking, it tries to match it to the skills that are available to it and follow that pattern that you set it to. Um, the interactions with cursors are that rules are always on in the background while you type. And for anti-gravity, the agent picks the right tool from the shelf when it's needed. So it picks the right skill that you need for the task that you want to work on. For the user, you just open like on Cursor, you just open a file and start coding, or ask the AI or the agent in that file, do this for me in this place. And in anti-gravity, you can more like ask just um, let's scaffold the login feature, or let's start working on the login feature, and it will take the right skill for it to use. um Here's like what can we best use cursor and Antigravity for. um for continuous linting and code style enforcement, we can use cursor, and Antigravity for complex multi-level architectural tasks. I like to think of Cursor like a really powerful linter that is really, really context aware on what you on the file you're working on. And Antigravity more like an agent, a dev that can understand more on what you're trying to do and pick the right tools to work with. Now, before setting you up on on what you should do next for leveling up your skills, let me share my screen for a second. Here, here is a little project inside Antigravity, and I wanted to show you how do you set the rules and skills for both Antigravity and Cursor. So for anti-gravity, you can create this agent folder, and here you can add the rules for anti-gravity and skills. So here we have some small rules about dark conventions that we want the AI always to follow these rules. So rules, we want them pretty much to always be followed. And for the skills, here we have, for example, the Flutter block patterns for the AI to know that when we need to create a block, always follow the best architecture and the best implementation for it. So for the skills, in this case, for example, we have here Flutter block patterns, or Flutter features scaffold, or Flutter go router. Some skills that we want the AI to follow on our project. For example, let's see the Flutter feature scaffold. We see that here we teach the AI, we tell the AI how we want to layer the architecture for our features. For example, we have here follow strict 4-layer architecture, having the presentation, business logic, repository, and data. And we also specify here when we should use it. And here we have use this skill when we are creating a new feature module from scratch. So now Antigravity, if I asked it to create or a new feature for a project, will follow this skill and make it as we want it. And for Cursor, I told you that uh, we use the MDC files, which is the files that Cursor reads for the rules. And this is the structure. We have this description, globs on what we are targeting with this rule. For example, we're targeting anything regarding block. And here we have the what we want regarding cell classes, state design, and some rules that no block inside another block, handle cross-block communication in the UI via a block listener, um, all this stuff. And yeah, that's about it. I can show you just a little example on the AI creating a new feature. Create a new feature for this, a new feature for reminders. So now, just to give you a small example, We're gonna create a new feature for like reminders in this app. So this is a task project, just a small one, and we are gonna ask that um, to Antigravity. So let's see, it's thinking, and once it creates it, we should see another uh, the the reminders folder inside the features created with the same layer as the one that we have for tasks. So let's see. Okay, guys, finally finished anti-gravity building the feature. We can see it here. Before we only had the task feature. Now we have these reminders one. We can see here that the architecture is as we specified on the skill. We have the data, domain, presentation. Inside the data, we have models, repositories. Have here our domain, the presentation layer. We have the block specified on our skill. We have the band, all using equatable and shield classes. Also here for the state, for the screens, we can see here the screens. We can see also here that one of the on one of the skills about creating widgets is that we should not use functions to return widgets. That is that is that is one common thing that AIs usually could do, but as we know, that's not the best thing to do. And here you can see that it created private widgets for these small widgets that are only gonna be used for like this screen. So that's great. And even on the router, it added the new page onto Go Router as we have for the skills. So that's about it regarding the skills for agents. Hope you learn a lot here or something new. You have here the official docs from Flutter about AI rules. I really, really, really empower you to use the Dart MCP for your AIs because it gives it a lot more context to the AI, so it can work a lot better. And yeah, I really hope that you start using skills for your agents in anti-gravity or rules for Cursor, and that you have a great time. Thank you guys. See you next time.